CanDo podcast. Today I have a special guest. I'm so excited to invite Nina Bersamina to the podcast today. Nina has been with Keto since 2018, has lost over 80 pounds, but not only that does she look great, but her outlook on life and her ability to help others and to inspire and to motivate is really what excites me the most about having Nina on, and her personality and her wonderful smile and just her way about connecting to people really drew me to Nina. So Nina, without further ado, I'd like to welcome you to the podcast. It's great to have you. How are you today?
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here and just to connect with you and everybody else, whoever's out there listening. I'm doing great. Enjoying my spring break and, just doing great. Just really looking forward to just chatting with you today.
Spring break must mean you're in education. Tell me about that. What do you do?
I am your school lunch lady. So I go out on the buses and we pass out the lunches to all the families and the kids that run up to the little bus stops. And it's really fun. It brings back a lot of memories. I mean, you definitely have that, Josie Grossi moment, but it's fun. It's healing. It's actually, it's therapeutic.
Definitely brings me back to the days where you used to trade food with your friends and what do you got? No, what do you have? I'll trade you this for that. And I always used to be excited for those kids that brought in pizza, because I used to have the crappy lunches and my friends would have pizza from the night before from a restaurant. I'd be so envious. I'd be like, what do I need to do to get a piece of pizza?
Oh, I know. Their lunches now are woo, they have so much good stuff. We never had that.
Right.
But yeah, the lunches are super yummy.
Well, the reason why we're here is obviously talking about food and how keto has both changed our life. And, I want you to get into it because your story is remarkable. Obviously there's a turning point in everybody's life, and you brought an interesting story to me. You're originally from Hawaii, is that correct?
I was born and raised in San Francisco, but have lived in Hawaii for, the past. My family's from Hawaii. So, I've lived there on and off, most recently just, 2018 when, the volcano went off in my neighborhood. But that's where my roots are from and my culture is from. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about the volcanic eruption, because this is an incredible story. Not only you actually survived it, but you thrived in it and it changed your life for the better. So please share that story.
Okay, so in 2018, we had just finished a big hula festival and I was just going about my little paradise life, oblivious to everything, when I started getting these little notifications on my phone from civil defense. Earthquakes. The next thing I know, that night, there were fissures. And if you don't know what a fissure is, it's opening in the ground. So think like a sci-fi movie, think Billy Bob Thornton, the whole bit. Our ground was opening up and gases and lava was coming up. The next thing we knew, we had the National Guard coming up and down the streets on the bullhorns telling evacuate, it's danger, life-threatening, evacuate. They didn't even have a shelter. So we ended up not evacuating until the next morning because we're like, we didn't believe it was really happening, right? We're watching lives as community people are just going out there showing cracks in the ground with the lava coming up. And they were like, it's happening. I mean, you see it, everybody goes and they go to Hawaii and they go on vacation. They go to the, Volcano National Park. They see all those videos. We were living in that video. We were living in the video. It was real. We were living in a sci-fi movie. So yeah.
A nightmare happening in front of your eyes. I can't believe it.
Yeah. But, little did we know what that nightmare would turn into such a conduit, right? For life-changing opportunity for me. They say in destruction brings creation, and I can't even emphasize that more. So yeah, we went and stayed in a shelter. The shelter was a gym, an open gym in the middle of town. I lived in a little town called Pahoa, on 39 acres. I mean, the volcano, the biggest one was less than a mile from my house. I used to see it from my lanai. I have pictures, all of it, all on my account. There's videos from it. There's videos from, you saw all the interviews that happened during that whole time. And, you know, my life is crumbling before my eyes, literally. Everything I knew was just being destroyed in front of my eyes. So we stayed in the shelter. We were, you know, and at this time, this was pre-keto. We were fed like day-old bento boxes that had like rice, more rice, and some breaded something or other, or some sugary food. And, you know, that's how I lived my life over there. That's what I ate every day.
How long were you in that kind of situation?
3 months. 3 months of fight or flight, you know, in that state, but not knowing really you're in that state, because when you come from a background of trauma and, you know, growing up in trauma and, you know, growing up poor and all that stuff, you have that survival instinct, and it just kicks in. It's like an automatic switch. It just kicks right in, and you don't even know like you're in danger. You're just surviving. There were days when they're like, you can't go outside, the air will kill you. Like, you know, we had to buy out these gas masks. We had to go have them fitted with the N95, you know, masks so that the air wouldn't kill you. Our dogs had to stay in. There were dead birds all over our yard. It was pretty gnarly. It was pretty crazy.
Wow, I can't even imagine that. I really can't. So then you were in this situation for 3 months, and then what turned for you? How did it? Tell me how you got out of it. You talk about fight or flight, and that's so impressive. You know, everybody deals with challenges every day, and I always say challenges turn into opportunities, and you certainly did that. Tell me how you took this challenge and you turned it into an opportunity. I understand your family's had medical background, and you were really hyper focused on, you know, getting your health in order. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was thankful enough. I have fantastic friends, and one of my friends had a house in San Diego, and he's like, come stay in the house in San Diego, you know, because I had no exit plan. I am on disability. I'm fixed income. I'm poor. I grew up poor, but I was happy. So I got to go. My lips are turning kind of like just thinking about this, but we went to San Diego, and I was, you know, feeling horrible. I had no idea, like, of this burden, this medical burden that I was carrying around this whole time. I was oblivious to it because, again, you grow up in trauma, fight or flight, right? You're like, you just get up and go and get up and go. So I was having some, like, I was tired all the time. I was just having medical things, and usually I'm like, I just fight through everything. I'm one of them, you know, spray some Windex on. I ain't going to the doctor. So I went to the doctor, and he was like, A, you're pre-diabetic. B, you're in full menopause. 3, your thyroid's whacked, and, you know, you're going to have to be on medication, this and that. And I, you know, the background of my family is all diabetic. And the ones that aren't diabetic, or they all are diabetic, have their thyroids out. You know, my grandmother died of diabetes. My great grandmother had her legs, you know, cut off. And so with that history and that double-edged sword, I just, you know, I needed something to tip me. And that was the tipping point.
That's great. Now tell me, you know, tell me how it got started. Obviously, you talk about going to the doctor and needing to make a change. For me, it was just like I went to an event, and I was so inspired by the people and the athletes. It was called Life Rolls On, and they help people with special needs like myself get in the water and surf. And it was on that day, and I said, you know, if I'm in better shape, I could do more activities like this. And that it was then, and it sounds like that moment for you was when you had the doctor visit. How did you get started with keto? Tell me your keto journey.
Okay, so my keto journey, I had, I've never really, I did not know what keto was. Okay, I literally was like oblivious to it, but I had done Atkins, and because of my metabolism, Atkins, actually, I responded to Atkins really well. So I knew after when I got home from that doctor's appointment, I'm like, I need something desperate. There's no more no more messing around, girl. Staying away from pupusas. You're staying away. That's it. That is it. And to top it all off, the house in San Diego was nothing but mirrors. So it was like everywhere I turned, there I was. It was like, who the hell is that in the mirror? And I think everybody kind of has that moment when they look in the mirror and they're like, whoa, I would get out of bed and my belly would just be like hanging over, and I grossed myself out. Myself out. So a friend had mentioned keto, believe it or not, in Hawaii, taco truck girl. And I always talk about her. That's how I first ever heard the word keto. And you're going to laugh because guess what? That night, I went on Pinterest and I wrote down all the recipes. Okay, from keto. Have I ever opened it and made anything? Hell no. Okay, the recipes are all still.
That's so great, though.
Yeah, they're all there. Look at a keto creme brulee. That must have really called my name. A frittata. There's like all these recipes in here I never made. Okay, but this was the night. This was the night that changed everything for me. So I knew, okay, keto. Had the word keto. Magic pill. The movie The Magic Pill. I'm like, okay, that's what keto is. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple days ago, and it's incredible how we were both drawn to that. And guys out there, if you're listening, if you get a chance and you're interested in learning more about keto specifically, watch The Magic Pill because it is a game changer. It not only helps adults, but young kids through epilepsy and all. It was incredible. It was a wow moment for me as well.
Yeah. It was really eye-opening. So I'm like, okay, macros. What are these macros? So I went on one of the websites and figured out what macros are. Macros are just food. Okay, why are you gonna be all fancy about it? Macros are food. Okay. And it's like calories and the amount of protein you eat and the amount of carbs you eat. You just, you have your little limits. And depending on how big and, and tall and everything else you are, everybody has their own set. So that's all you got to do. Just stay in there. So I just counted carbs in the beginning, and that's how I started. I just, I got all my food that was in the cabinets and I put them on the top shelf because I'm short. I'm only 5 foot tall. I stuck them on that top shelf because I know my little ass was not going to get up onto a stool and grab the chili beans or whatever. And I knew my husband wasn't either because if I was eating like this, he was eating like this.
Right.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's how it started, and like a lot of us, it was a lot of trial and error, going out to restaurants and ordering cauliflower pizza. That was a cauliflower, not reading labels, all that kind of stuff.
And, 2 years ago, it's so incredible, 2021 now, how much advanced and how many more products are keto related. I mean, back 3 years ago, you hardly couldn't find anything. Now it's great. There's so many resources, so many great products out there. It's just awesome. Talk about the evolution of keto as you've seen it over the last 3 years.
Yeah. So for the first year, like when I first started, we used to just heat up Quest bars. Like, we were eating cream cheese with sugar if we wanted something sweet. There was nothing on the market. There was nothing, on the market. And then I remember though, that next year, everything hit the market and 99% of it was junk. Like it was, who knew what was in it? It was all these different, that was before they had clarified the nutritional labels with fiber and all that kind of stuff. So, everybody was just jumping on it and trying all this stuff. And, in our keto community on Instagram, everybody was sharing and everybody's like, oh, I want to try that. And it just really and everybody was doing meetups and they were throwing products at us. And, everybody was just eating and then complaining about why they're not losing weight anymore, and we kind of, figured out, well, this works for me. This doesn't work for me. This works for me. So, it was really kind of like an evolution of like all the different keto products. And it really was a game changer as far as like people being keto, right? Because they could swap out some Quest chips for real chips. Like, just everything that they have now, they didn't have back in my day. We had nothing. So, walk to school, 10 miles in the rain, but it was it's really come a long way. And there's some fantastic, fantastic companies. Yours, I love your bars. Yours are
But th-
and I'm picky. I'm picky. You know, I love the ingredients and I love the quality of it and the taste.
Thank you so much. We're excited about it. It means so much to us. It's great. When was that day, that aha moment where you said, you know, Nina, I got this? You remember a day? For me, I remember sitting around talking to my brother, just saying, man, I finally found a lifestyle that works for me. And I was just so excited. This was before we even thought about working on a bar or anything like that. It was just getting into it. It was like the first month of just me focusing on health and wellness that I just really saw a change. And it was like, oh my gosh, I'm onto something.
Yeah, yeah. I want to say that was probably, let's see, 6 months into my journey when you literally could not shut me up. Okay, my son made a really funny meme of, you guys have probably seen this before, of you know, the guy that's in like the bathroom and the urinal, and the guy next to him goes, "Hey, I'm keto." Like, you know, like, you could not shut me up. I was just so blown away, sorry, by this keto journey and like what it was doing to my body, right? I've always been heavy. I've always been, you know, the heavy sister. I'm the oldest of 6 sisters. I've always been the big one. All of a sudden I'm shrinking and I'm feeling great and my face is thinning out and I have all this energy and like, you know, shit, I might go to the gym. Like, you know, who am I?
Right.
Yeah, that was
That
about,
is
yeah.
That's so awesome, and it's so relatable because I feel the same way. It was great. Like every morning, I can't wait to get up and go, to swim or do some kind of activity. It's just
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. You want more. It's kind of, you get the bug.
Yeah, you want
What
more,
what?
you want to share it, you want to get your family on it, you want to get everybody, and to the point where like, shut up. Like, I'm telling you though, it's like, you know, so yeah, it's very contagious. And so that's what I love about our community is we can just be the biggest keto nerds. Or when you see somebody in the supermarket and they say keto and your ear goes up like Spock, you know, you're like,
Yes,
you go like walk
exactly.
over by them on accident.
I've heard of that. Tell me more. I'm doing that all the time. And when I go into the bar aisle and somebody's looking at bars and they haven't seen Keto Crisp, I'm always going up to them and say, "Hey, I'd like to have you try this," or
Oh
whatever the
yeah,
case may be. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
it
What
really
what
is.
what advice would you share to somebody that's yo-yoed between diets, and what are some of your favorite tips to share and advice?
For
For
keto.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, for me, just for example, I always say, start small, set a
Hmm.
goal that's attainable so that you can reach it, and then, see where it takes you. Share with the group some of your success stories and what you would advise, people, and what's worked for you
Yeah.
specifically.
Um, Gosh, I would say we it's a tough one. The small goals is a big one, so you don't get discouraged, so you don't get, you don't feel like, oh, I can't do this, Um, I'm gonna say to you tips and goals. One of them is, and this is the most hugest one, preparation. Cook a bunch of meat, stick them in some Tupperware, put it in the refrigerator, so that you are always prepared. I'm a big proponent of meal prepping because I'm lazy. I'm lazy. Okay. I will go for the lowest hanging fruit. So I'm making sure that all that lowest hanging fruit is a bunch of protein and a bunch of steamed or cooked vegetables in that refrigerator that I can throw in my air fryer or, whatever. That's one of them. The small goals. The biggest one is do not compare yourself to somebody else because we are all different. You may look alike, same body type and stuff like that, but your body has been through something different than somebody else's. And so it's going to react differently. Don't think that, you're going to do carnivore or egg fast for 3 days and lose 10 pounds because Becky did it. It's individual and it's unique, and we're all going to have our own different experience on this. And if you stick with it, it will work. It will work. And you can't do keto for a week and I haven't lost 10 pounds. It's not working. It doesn't work like that. It's a lifestyle. It's your healing. It's not even about the weight. You know that. It's about the inflammation. It's about
Of course.
your endocrine system, your adrenals, all that.
For sure. I mean, for me, I always talk, it's not a diet. It's a definite lifestyle, for sure. Talk about the keto community and how important it's been for you. And I see the smile on both of our faces.
Yeah.
For me, it's really been remarkable and really, I don't want to say surprised because the people always come together in time of need,
Yeah.
but it's incredible to me the amount of support that's out there.
Yeah. So the keto community for me was, I'm going to just say, and I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. It was life-changing for me. They saved me because when I had first come to San Diego alone, husband working nights at FedEx, I knew nobody, right? Here I am, plucked out of everything that I ever knew and dropped into this place where everybody looks beautiful. If I go out to the beaches or whatever, like, and I created like connections with them. I shared my story with some of them that I felt safe sharing my story with. And, and they like, oh my God, and you're doing keto and, how's that going? And then I had created the Instagram account. It used to be just Bucci. Okay, Keto Bucci. But then when I moved up here, I put the PNW on it. I found some really good accounts and I found some pretty shitty accounts too. But one of the accounts that I have continued to follow is, and I don't know if you follow her too, Keto Sony. She taught me how to cook the keto stuff. She taught me a lot. And so I'm always thankful for her. And then all the friends, like some of the people that I talked to, like on the first couple of nights being online, I still talk to now. They've been there in my low days where I just feel like I couldn't go on anymore. I mean, they've done the whole evolution with me and they're so inspiring and so motivating. I mean, I see these mamas with their baby in the living room doing their burpees and, they're just, everybody is taking different routes, but we're all going to the same destination.
Right. And I think it's really interesting and motivating. Like you said, everybody's got a different path. Me, I'm not so much of I don't cook a whole lot. So I'm eating at restaurants, constantly looking at different, menu options. But again, everybody gets to the same destination. And I think it's great. You have a quote in here I want you to elaborate on. I've never felt better in my entire life. Keto saved me in more ways than one. Yeah. Talk about how keto saved you, and it kind of relates to the community, and I'm sure they go hand in hand. But talk about that.
Well, keto, like, of course, obviously, the physical part. The losing the weight. I don't have to be on any medications. I am not pre-diabetic anymore. My blood sugar is like in the 80s, 70s. So that, first and foremost. Secondly, it was mentally, because I was, spiritually and mentally barren when I got to San Diego. I was a mess. Like, I didn't even know who I was. I was in therapy. Like, I was a mess. Found my keto community, would talk to them at night, get really good ideas. And I almost got like obsessed with keto because that was the thing that kept my mind going and kept it off of everything else and what was really going on as everything was healing around me. And as I was kind of changing, and the most important thing, and this is something that is not really spoken of a lot, I haven't seen as much though, is when you're doing keto, you start learning like, your behaviors that you have are the behaviors that you learned as a child growing up. So if you're poor, if you grew up, in poverty, you developed a way of eating, you develop these like mental images of yourself, these, all your self-esteem, all your worth, all your everything. And you really kind of embark on not only a physically changing journey, but also a spiritually changing journey, because you start learning everything about yourself. Like, oh, and that's why I did this. That's why, I always ate all the food on my plate. All these memories will kind of come back, and it's really an evolution. It's an evolution. It's a self-discovery. It's a journey of self-discovery, and it's a journey of self-love.
And I would say for me, it was incredible amount of discipline, because you're
Yes.
completely, it's like literally learning a new language.
Yes, exactly.
I mean,
New behaviors, new thought patterns, everything.
What was the toughest part mentally and physically for you as you shifted into keto?
Well, I was lucky I never got the keto flu, because I had watched, different people on the gram, and I learned to suck them electrolytes down and do all these things from day one. Never lost hair, because I was, I kind of incorporated everything. Gosh, the toughest part of it was actually learning, and kind of delving into that past of mine, right? Why, why was I so heavy? I really kind of hated myself. I had no self-esteem. I was bullied in school. I was, all these different things from my past were coming up, and I had to come to terms. I had to face them all, and I had to come to terms with them all, and, and fix it, put it to rest, and that was probably the most honestly, that was the most challenging part for me, was this all that shadow work, all that self-discovery work, and the mental discipline too is the big one, because I never had discipline, and that was a big one. I've fought myself many a night in that house and in this house, and you just learn to do it. It's a muscle. Discipline's a muscle.
Yes. So do you now have daily rituals or daily activities that you do to help you stay focused? How do you keep up the momentum? Once you get started, for me, I was literally a freight train. We taught the language, used the community, reached out to people. Obviously, there's a whole slew of information online.
Yeah.
What do you do now to maintain or to continue? And obviously, you've got some tremendous followers and some great ideas online, that you've shared every day. What are some best practices that you use now that you could share?
So I have a routine every morning, and it's the simplest routine. I, get up, I have a routine. So I get up, I drink my water, I drink my coffee, I write down, okay, what do I want to accomplish today? Today I want to accomplish drinking all my water. Today I want to, accomplish being carnivore. Today I want to accomplish walking 30 minutes, little ones every single day. But the most important thing, and I'm starting to see this, and remember, I just did a post on this, was that mindset over macros, because I'm finding that a lot of people right now in our community are struggling with the momentum. They're like, oh, I lost all this weight. I'm not losing anymore. I'm failing. Let me, get off keto. Let me try, Weight Watchers. Let me do this. Let me do that. And they're kind of reverting back to things that didn't work for them, and they, because in their mind, they're thinking keto's not working anymore. But in reality, it's not your same body. They're not the same body that when they first started keto, I guess is a good way to put it. Right. You have to change with it, and you have to be okay. I mean, if you're not going to lose weight, you're not going to lose weight for a while. Your body's always doing other stuff. We know that. It's healing. It's do you feel better mentally? Do you have more mental
It's all
clarity?
About it's accepting yourself every day and being at peace with that.
Yeah.
And and it sounds like you definitely are at that place, which is so exciting and so happy. Talk about being at that place of being happy.
Yeah, that's taken a long time for me, given my past, and it's just what I want to do. And actually over 2020, I got my health coach certificate. No, I'm not taking on any clients, because to me, that's scary, to be responsible for somebody else's life. It's like that meme, the Schitt's Creek guy. I forget what his name is. he don't want to be responsible for somebody's life, but I mean, I will help anybody. And I just did it to learn for myself, for my own self-knowledge. It's just, you gotta, at some point, just all the stuff that I share and everything, I just want to help other people. That's it, period.
Right.
End of story. That's it. If I can help somebody, I'm happy. That's all I want to do. It's just kind of like pay it forward.
Well, that's great. That's evident in your stories and how you talk about, emotionally being connected to it. And I can just tell in your personality, just wanting to reach out and help, because when it makes you feel so good and it's life-changing, you want to share that story with everyone. And that's why I'm so excited about the bar. The bar is one thing for me, and Keto Crisp has been great, but the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people and to get inspiration from you and so many others out there, it's been great. And that's why we do this, because we're on this earth for such a short time. We want to make an impact while we're here. It's really, really awesome, and it's really infectious to have that attitude, and it's fun. It's fun to help people and to see their smile and to see people's transformations and to reach out and know that you're there. I mean, nothing gets me more excited than a customer saying, I've lost 80 pounds. Your bar has been a great addition to my life and whatever. And it's just great to hear their story. So I can't thank you enough for coming on today. I wanted to ask you, in your life, since we're on the CanDo podcast, what is your biggest CanDo moment? You've had so many of them, and you can list as many as you want, but what's one CanDo moment that sticks out that, for me, it was just, getting started and then actually being able to hit my goal, whatever it was. And it was never a certain number of a weight number per se, but I just, I even surprised myself with, how much weight I lost.
Okay. So, oh my Lordy, I've had many because, I'm a scrapper, that's who I am. But I want to say that, like, I think my biggest CanDo moment, and this is just lately, would be just how I rebuilt my life. But I'm disabled. You're disabled. I'm disabled. We're disabled. And look at us. We're out here killing it. We're sharing the message and the energy and the story and everything. And this, for me, is with destruction brings creation, right? So that's kind of the philosophy of the volcano, and I believe that some people are torn down to be rebuilt and to rebuild other, people around them. And, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that everything was torn down, because had it, but for that volcano, like I say, I would have never done this. I would have been just sitting there stuffing my face full of rice for the rest of my life,
Right. I always say that obstacles bring opportunity, and you've certainly been the calling card for that. I mean, you've been through so much, constant moving, the volcano. I wouldn't even know. I mean, I guess you just kind of deal with that in life, and you've dealt with it. And like I said earlier, you didn't only dealt with it, you thrived in that environment, and you've made so many positive strides. And I wouldn't call it disabled. I just call it unique challenges. And, you just see things through a different scope, which is so cool and so awesome.
That's why I've really enjoyed connecting with you, because you're my people. You're my people,
Yes.
And so for our next meetup, I'm going to have you come out. You got to come out. You have to.
Well, tell me about the next meetup. I'm there for sure.
Oh, we had one of the biggest meetups in 2019. It was huge. The Keto in the Park PDX. It's so many people. It's so many wonderful sponsors, and that's when I had a chance to try everybody's stuff. We had over like 80 swag bags. It was a potluck. So everybody, and there's some talented people up here on the PNW. Talent. I mean, cooking and baking, and we had it all. Everybody was out there showing their stuff. It was beautiful. It looked like a cooking show out there. It was gorgeous.
It's so incredible to me how the talent of cooking and people get so creative with different recipes. It's just unbelievable. It's truly amazing. truly
Yeah, I mean,
amazing.
keto unleashes it all. It unleashes it all because, you got to cook.
Yes.
You got to cook. And then, you know what? You get better and better and better as it. And the same thing with baking and everything. So, yeah. So the next one, you got to come up. Right now we're not too comfortable with doing one, but for sure, by next year, we're going to do it like next spring. As soon as it gets nice, because, the PNW up here is so cold.
Yes.
It's horrible. But,
Yes.
I'm getting used to it.
Yes.
But yeah,
I'm sure that's got to be quite a change from, from Hawaii, the beautiful weather in Hawaii to, where you are now. Well, how did you adjust to that? Or maybe you haven't, I don't know.
I haven't, but I'm better than I was last year. So I have lots of cute boots and I learned to wear double pants and, it's all about that Columbia and Sorels and just got to snow bunny it out. I mean, we had a bad snowstorm up here not that long ago and I walked to 7-Eleven because it would look, I FaceTime my sister and put my snow boots on and I didn't even know what I was going there for, but I was going.
Right.
It was fun. I'm getting used to it.
Determination, Nina. Nina, how do people get a hold of you? You're an incredible story, and I want people to follow you. Your smile lightens up the room.
Oh,
I'm sure people have told you that 100 times. And just, I just love your brashness online. You don't give a damn. You drop F-bombs. I love it, left and right. I mean, it's truly remarkable. But at the source of it, you're just an incredible lady that really cares about people and cares about what you're doing. And I just think it's great. And your attitude's incredible. How do people get a hold of you? How do people follow you? So that you can help people, because you really help so many and you have so many more people to help.
Okay. So if you guys want to sign up with a spicy cafeteria lady, you can find me at PNW Ketobuchi and it's on Instagram, and that's the best way to find me. And the whole world is there. Everything. I don't hold back. It's 100% what you see is what you get. So, if you ever need help, I'm always there for you too. So that's just the person that I am. And if anybody's curious, I'm an open book, literally.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Nina. It was awesome to have you. I love hearing your story. I love your attitude, your smile, and just keep going, keep doing the great work. If there's anything we can do, we'll always continue to be in touch. And again, I really appreciate it today. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you, Adam. It was so fun talking to you. We got to talk, at least once a week, have little sessions.
Of course. Right. I love to chat. Thank you so much, Nina.